They scanned this thing, and then you could see where the cancer had spread to, but they still couldn't see where the cancer came from. So there was so it turned out that the cancer had spread from somewhere in my stomach. They initially thought it was like stomach related. They thought it would spread from my stomach it did spread from the stomach into the spine, into the diaphragm, into the lungs, and then over here into the neck. I'm actually really glad that this happened because I was never going to know. Because I could sort of feel the discomfort, but I'm working so hard most of the time, and we don't listen to our bodies when we work hard. I don't care much for that. I'm like, oh, discomfort. Then I'll go jogging the next morning and do sit-ups. There's more discomfort. So I didn't quite feel it. So now, as I'm doing all these tests and stuff in July, they tell me where the stuff had spread to, but yet the specialists still don't know where it came from, which was really stressing me out. Now I'm like, okay, so we found the cancer. It's here, it's in my neck, and they know that it's spreading through the lymphatic nodes. So the cancer that I have is called choriocarcinoma, and then they deduced that from, they did just forgive me with the terms here. I forgot what it's called. They did this very specific thing where they take out a chunk of this meat, a chunk, like a serious chunk of it at the back here. That's the picture that was trending. They said I'm dying. Yes, this. They took out a chunk, and I still went back to work that day. Actually, took out a chunk of meat, and then from that scale, that test was so accurate and deep. That's why it's expensive, I guess. They can tell from analyzing that piece of meat, we suspect that the cancer is from here. So then they suspected that the cancer may have evolved from the testicles. Now the doctor asked me, can I see anything on my testicles? Is there growth? And I said no. Then I had to go and think, have I ever felt discomfort or whatever? And then I remember that I had, and there was a small neon discomfort I once felt on my testicles, but last year. And I didn't attend to it. And then the doctor said, okay, let's scan the testicles too, because now they'd scanned my whole body this whole 3 months. Don't know why anyone didn't think let's scan full. So they scan, then they do a full body scan, inclusive of from head to testicle, let me say that. So they scan this thing, and then they spot a small growth on my testicles. But then now, what was confusing the doctors, I guess, or just making it more difficult to find out exactly what kind of thing it was, the growth on my testicles, they didn't believe was big enough to create such a big, because this was huge. And then there was also another bump here, and then there's some on the inside of it that we can't see. And there was quite a big one on my stomach before I started doing the chemo. So the doctors didn't firmly believe that that small growth on my testicles could have influenced the rest of this thing to become so bad. But then one of the specialists on my team that have been looking at me throughout this whole journey, one of their working theories is that it may have grown without causing serious discomfort, that I couldn't feel it, and shrunk. So it grew, went big, and then one of the cancers inside there escaped the testicular area and then started to infect my stomach, and then it shrunk. So then it became more difficult to spot. Now they're looking around everywhere, all over the body, Dandy. It's that very little, small growth there that started everything, and it's gotten to this stage. I think it's stage 3 something, 3-2. And I don't think it gets to a further stage according to my doctors. This is the last stage it could possibly be at. Having someone to sort of remind you that the world is not ending. At least now you've found out what the problem is. Let's see how we're gonna sort this out in the future. Because my thinking is always, what's the problem, what's the solution? And it took very long for us to get to what is the problem. Once we found the problem, I then started stressing about nothing except for the problem. That's when my girlfriend came in, and she was so comforting, she was so nice. And my friends also, and the people I was working with. The last production, I was with a company, I'm sure I can mention the company, not the production, of Sketchbook Films. They were really epic, they were really understanding, because I told some of them, especially the production team, I was like, guys, I think I have cancer, but I'm not sure, let's just keep it on the low, because I also didn't want to stress them. So it really helps to have people in the production teams that understand and are able to be there for you as a human more than a colleague. Honestly, it's the people around you, the support is more important than anything. Because those guys actually made me feel like, oh, it's not that bad. The doctors made me feel like you're gonna die. The ones leading up to this final team, they made me feel, everyone was like, this is serious, you must panic. And I did panic. But the panic didn't really do much for me, you know. But the people around me, my family, my mom, my girlfriend, my sister, were really able to calm me down. And I was able to find like my mojo again. To be able, and I also had to then separate, which I'm not too used to doing that. I had to separate home subs and work subs. I do that when the characters are really deep. If it's not so funny, or I'm playing like dark characters, which I barely play. I'm really good at those as well. I'm really good at funny stuff, really dark stuff. But I had to then, when I get home, be nicer to myself. And also when I get to work, be as nice to myself as when I'm home, but in a different way. It was just very strange, man. Like I had to really tap in, and I don't have to tap in, especially with comedic roles. I didn't have to be so focused on tapping in. Okay, man, just some sevens in, tap in, focus on this. Okay, you gotta be funny for this. You gotta, it just took a whole lot more effort for the same thing. But I really thank the people that I worked with, Sketchbook, and my colleagues there. So